Hurley,
the loyal friend, stayed with Jack till the end and then took over as the island's #1. He changed the rules, and I imagine he made them fair and uncomplicated. I like the way Ben said, that's how Jacob ran things.
and of Jacob,
It sort of seemed like he took a back seat while things happened the way they happened, while he summoned people to come to the island to abide by his complex set of rules. But there were at least 3 skeletons down at the source, which means that at least on 3 separate occasions, he had somebody go down there and try and do the work that Jack and Desmond did. When him and MIB were on the beach that time, and MIB said to him, "Do you know how much I want to kill you right now?" But Jacob had probably been trying to kill him for years. So in essence, they were both sick of each other. And this is probably why Jacob seemed so bummed all the time. Or why he said to Ben, "What about you?" Ben once remarked, "We all report to someone, Jack." I'd kind of hoped that this hierarchy would have applied to Jacob and MIB, because this would have helped explain the rules. It would have explained where/who they came from, and when this all started. So that might have been one mystery that the producers could have explained to us.
Jack,
New sheriff in town, boys. Y'all best get used to it.
You're going to the far side of the bamboo forest, to the place I swore to protect. You think you're going to destroy the island, but that's not what's going to happen. And what is going to happen, Jack? I'm going to kill you. Best face-off ever.
John Locke,
You disgrace his memory by wearing his face, but you're nothing like him. In remembering his life, he found that everything that he pursued on the island was for a reason. His life amounted to something spectacular. John Locke, our believer, who was the first to look into the eye of the island.
Jin and Sun,
It's a girl. Her name is Ji-Yun. That was awesome. It was sad that they spent 3 years trying to find each other again, only to drown in a sinking submarine. Probably one of the saddest moments in televised history. But they weren't regretful or sad in the flash sideways when they realized this. They were just happy that they were together and that they'd be moving on together.
the island,
Ultimately, the island needed to be saved. I think a new set of rules were created when Hurley took over as custodian, because the original rules were made up by 2 dumb kids who had a crazy mother. However, it was their rules that allowed Jack and his friends to fulfill their connections, and bring with it that love and meaning that was missing from their lives. The flash sideways. Live together, die alone. Christian Shepherd pointed out to Jack that nobody goes it alone. And even in death, there is company. It was nice that Vincent came and lay next to Jack in the bamboo field, so he didn't really die alone. After Lapidus, Miles, Richard, Kate, Claire and Sawyer all took off, they all continued to live their lives, until they eventually died. But what reunited them in the flash sideways was the love and meaning that they had collectively brought into each other's lives. So in death, they moved on, out of the imaginary flash sideways that reminded them of those moments in their lives that brought them together. What made the end particularly sad, though, was that we actually watched Jack's death in more or less real time. So although in the flash sideways they were all happy and they were all moving on happily, we were sad that the story on the island had ended. In essence, the flash sideways was in fact a super flash forward. Traditional happy endings involve the hero saving the day, winning the girl, and then riding off into the undefined, indefinite, happily ever after. Whereas with the end, there was a lot of death, which traditionally makes people uncomfortable. This is why I have been so sad at Jack's death. I was sad to hear Kate say, "I missed you so much," because it indicated that she actually went on to live a really long life after she got off the island. And I was sad that it was always Kate, because although he had had his chance with her off the island, it wouldn't cease to summon him back. So he drowned his sorrows, incidentally, with the Jack. I'm sad that the island didn't heal him, because he helped heal the island. I'm sad that Hurley and Ben went on to protect the island without the most important people in their lives with them, Libby and Alex, and all their friends. And I'm sad that there turned out to be no do-over. Whatever happened. And that's something that no Lost fan really expected to be true. I can't believe how badly I fell in love with these characters and how much I really wanted to see their sky turn violet again and see them in another time happy together. That's what Desmond thought would happen as he was lowered down into the source, and that's why he was so disappointed that it didn't. But I guess that's where the flash sideways came into play, because they were happy there. We saw them happy. It seemed that the island could pull out many cards, But what it couldn't do was do-overs. I watched every single episode right from the start, and I'll always remember the exciting anticipation of waiting each week to see what would happen next. Even waiting between seasons and making edits to Lostpedia. Incidentally, most of my theories can now be thrown into the baloney pile. And what I loved most about the characters in Lost is that they were all inherently good, and they all had each other's back. But the fact remains that I loved that show and its characters as though they were real people. I had hoped for a spectacular sci-fi ending, one that I couldn't have possibly come up with myself. I wanted something totally out of the normal to happen and blow me away. I wanted the deaths on the island to have not been real. In the end, it was what it was. They were lost people, and they were brought together. Their time on the island served a purpose, and they were all heroes in their own right. Their lives were enriched by the connections that were made as a result of them being brought together for the sake of saving the island. It was beautiful.
Fun time's over, Mongo. Won't you hit the buffet?
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another life, brother.